Hey guys, my name is Jennifer. Here we talk about everything. And right now, me, I'm having a fit. Why am I having a fit? Because too many kids are dying. We have 13 on the clock. And instead of people grouping up with me, which there are a lot of people, and I have to say there are a lot of people joining forces with me right now. But I'm talking to these people that are consistent on it's just a drink, or it's just one hit, or it's just this and it's just that, and what's your problem? It's none of your business. I have 4 children out here that makes it my business. And whether I have talked to them or I have not talked to them, they came out my pussy. That makes them my children, and I have the right to worry about them. As for you, you don't have to worry about them. But I'm pretty certain you have children too, and you should be worried about them. And if you are so worried, so we're chosen, why are you teaching your kids how to do dope? If you're chosen, why are you teaching your kids to choke? If you're chosen, why are you teaching your kids to fuck their entire goddamn worlds up just like you did? Oh, I didn't fuck my life up. I got plenty of money. I got this, I got that. You know what you got? You got AIDS up by 300%. You've got two new STDs. You've got kids out here getting pregnant by men 3 times their age at 12 and 13 years old. Why? Because women are more entertained by another man saying, I want you, baby, just do what I tell you to, than to stand up for their daughters, stand up for themselves, and know that some things just aren't fucking right. Narcan should be everywhere. You can't even get a medication from your doctor's office right now and be okay with that and know that it's gonna fucking help you. You know, I spent 20 years on drugs. Most of the medications that I took were prescribed to me. Yes, Cindy, they were. And do you know that 244, do you know that a lot of the medications that I was prescribed, there are suits against them. People have sued them because of the things that it has done to them. And because this suing didn't happen until, I didn't even know that all this was going on. So, I missed out on a lot of the suits that went on out there. And that's okay, because I guess it wasn't meant for me. But it proves that me quitting this stuff was essential for my growth, and that I don't need that stuff. It was making me worse than what I really am. I know I have issues. But let me tell you something. The biggest issue I have is not having a future for my kids. And that's where you and I are different. Because I want one. They want one. You should want one for them too. And it's more important for you to show me that I'm stupid. I need to shut the fuck up. It's more important for you to tell me that I'm wrong than it is for you to admit that you made bad decisions. And now you gotta fix it. I made bad decisions. I've been taking the time to fix it. Well, you think that you're overrated and you can do whatever the fuck you want to, and I'm the only motherfucker that's gotta clean up their act and fucking make up for the shit that I fucking done wrong? No, it doesn't work that way. You don't get to fucking roll in on my fucking carpet ride and say, oh, well, we're clean because Jennifer's clean. No. You gotta get clean too. The hardest thing to do is to get clean off the shit that the doctors told you needed to have in your system in order to be able to live. So you play with that bargain price of, should I or should I not? You don't have that with alcohol. But yet you teach your kids every fucking day, 444, that it's so cool and so fun. Today I got to watch something. I haven't watched racing in a long time. And I love racing. It's in my blood. It's in my blood. I love racing. I love racing. My grandfather wanted me to be a Danica Patrick so bad. And I was like, not me, not me, not me. There's no telling where I'd be today if I would have chosen that path. But I didn't choose that path. In fact, it took me 20 years in order for me to learn and get my degree in collision repair and welding. Now that I have it, I'm almost too old to be working in anything like that, and I probably don't have the energy to work the circuit anymore. Just because it's not the same as when you're in your 20s. I'm not giving up on life. I'm really not. However, I can tell you that thanks to driving Isn't This Funny, NASCAR is known for its drinking. Busch Series, Winston Series. Winston is cigarettes, but like that's how long I've been watching it. It's no longer Busch and Winston anymore. Went to Sprint, and then because they had to take out the alcohol and the drinking way back when, so they changed it to Cup Racing, and then it was Sprint. Anyway, you guys don't need to know any of that. It was part of what helped me get sober on alcohol. I got sober during class with alcohol, going into automotive where everybody's an alcoholic. I decided I'm gonna become sober. I don't regret that day. I have 5 years now. But part of being sober is seeing things that people that are still intoxicated don't see. What I'm seeing is that instead of you being parents to your children, you're so scared you're going to lose them by telling them no. You'd rather tell them yes, and you lose them anyway. So I'm asking you today, is it that important for you to be the friend of your kid? Or is it more important for them to exist? Because those are the choices that you have to make. This isn't funny. This isn't a repeat. This isn't a test. This is factual, actual, substantial information that you can look up everywhere, anywhere, no matter where you're living. If you want your kids to grow, it's time for you to grow. And if you want them to last, it's time for you to put that stupid shit to blast. And start learning things that you can learn with your kids. You don't have to be ashamed of. You don't have to hide when they come in the room. And you don't have to figure out how to pay your bills because one day you just couldn't help yourself and you needed that extra hit or two. You don't ever have to worry about that off addiction. You don't. Because you start making valuable decisions for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for your work community, and for your society. It comes with the package. The longer you're sober, the more appropriate your decisions. Sometimes you concern yourself with people more than you should, but in most cases, something comes out of it more than what you thought. Sobriety is not something that we can just skivvy off into a corner and say, it's there, but I don't want to pay attention to it right now. You don't have a choice but to pay attention to it. Because if you don't pay attention to it, your life, someone you love's life, or maybe even your child's life, could be the next on that list of non-survivors. Is that what you want? Is a point to prove to me and all the other motherfuckers that told you not to be doing this shit because it's dangerous? Is it that important for you to make a point that you're willing to lose your life for somebody else's? Because that's where we stand. They're coming up with new drugs every day. And the funny thing is, the people coming up with the drugs, they don't do them. They don't do them. very intelligent, wealthy motherfuckers with no couth and no concern about whether or not you survive. They just give a fuck that you line their pockets tonight. Are those the people that you want to be around? The ones that when you get something... Listen, I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a story that's going to be familiar to a lot of kids out here that are teenagers, high school students, even college students. Or mom's going back to school or dad's going back to school. Imagine. I'll set the scene for you, okay? I'm going to school for psychology. I'm in my 3rd year. I'm writing papers like a motherfucker, dude. My comp teachers, all my teachers are just like, wow, you write hellacious papers. You're great. Like, they were all just, every teacher I had was just commending me 11 on my papers, on my paperwork. And I was showing the people around me. Now, I had a 98 in my classes. My 97, 98 was my average in my classes. I don't remember what the points were. I went by averages, percentage. I loved going to school. I loved going to school at that time. This was 2013. I'd already lost my kids, and I was still working on trying to prove to them that I was worthy of being a mom. With this big wig psych degree, and I was going to get us a place to live, and, anyway. I started showing my friends. You know who my friends were? The drug dealers that I needed to cover me when I ran out of my own medicines because my script wasn't long enough and it wasn't big enough. It was the people around me that didn't give two shits about me unless I had money. I had something to give. I had something to eat. I had a couch to sleep on. Or that was about it. When I read them the paper, I give them the paper to read. I'd be so excited. Read this. They didn't give a fuck about this shit. It took about the 3rd paper to realize that I was sharing my world with people who just weren't there with me in that world. And in those moments is when I really started to realize I didn't belong there anymore. And it didn't matter what reasons I chose, that I went to school with these people, I grew up with these people, this is the people that I know, how am I gonna, you get all these questions when you decide it's time for you to just get out of this lifestyle, get away from all this. And you don't know how. It wasn't long after that one of my famous premonitions came to pass. And not long after that, I really dug deep into wanting sobriety and a change in my lifestyle. It took a long time. It took 3-4 years to get myself situated to where I actually stayed sober after that. But it was attempts, and just because you don't do it the first time doesn't mean you have to stop doing it. It's the effort. But these days, people aren't being given a second chance. They're not given a third chance. They're not even given the time to finish snorting that line that was laid out for them. Drugs aren't what they used to be. You don't have an opportunity to try it to see if you're strong enough, if your might is high enough to be impressible to the people in your crowd that you just can't do without. It's time for you to figure out that life is more important than any drug they're coming up with. There's an herb for that. I swear to God. And I promise you, on God's will, that if you find something non-toxic, it can be similar to whatever it is that you're taking that is toxic. And tomorrow morning you can wake up, and so can your friends, your family, and your children. That's where it's at. Without life, what are you doing? Where are you going? And if you don't have anybody to do it with, why are you doing it? Drugs and alcohol get in the way of so many things. It's time to admit it, put a stop to it, and shift your vibration. Yes, it's gonna take a lot of might, but there's a lot of sight that comes with it. Even in the moment of restriction, I promise you, there's not a drug out there I would want to be on right now.